Na 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 na. There was a time that I didn't want to know your name, and cast to the side and torn and covered in shame. But a moment in time, you came and you took it all away.
Hello, everyone. We welcome you once. We welcome you twice. We welcome you in the name of Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
And you go to the Word in Conversation podcast.
Yes.
Me, myself, and Dude, we are your hosts. I am Aris. This is Dude. Thank you again for joining us. It's been a little minute since we've done the podcast.
Yes, it has.
We've been busy. Life has been lifing.
Lifing.
Really been lifing. Really been lifing. So we've been lifing. People have been asking for us to do the podcast. I don't know about on your end.
Right. No, they've been asking.
Yeah. So they've been asking. Yeah, they've been asking to do the podcast, and I kept telling them, I was like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But life kept lifing.
And lifing.
Right.
But
So-
keep on asking every time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You know, just keep asking. Everybody, keep asking.
Yeah. So we're back in the mix. We're back in the mix, and so we are officially going to basically call this one today the start of season 1.
Season 1.
Right. We've done podcasts in the past, and we've done conversations, and we thank everybody who joined us for, especially like Jacob, who joined us, and everybody who jumped online
Right.
as we went about kind of trying to get our feet wet and try to figure out everything. All those who have supported, those who've jumped on for the podcast and asked questions, and kind of been in the mix while we've gone through this journey of just trying to figure out what we're going to do and how this process is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we thank you all for joining us for that one. But yeah, so we're going to officially call this one the season 1. Season 1, episode 1. We got episodes to come. We got more to come. This is just an intro night to kind of got to reintroduce ourselves.
Right.
Right, we're going to reintroduce ourselves. Like I said, I called him Dude. This is John Moore, one of my good friends, deacon at Community Chapel. So I give him the character of Dude. That's what I call him.
Dude, yeah. Dude, it don't matter. It's dude.
Dude.
When we communicate,
Yeah.
we text,
It's dude.
hey, dude, what's up?
It's
That's
dude.
how we say it.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
that's
dude.
how we say it.
And so behind the cameras, what you cannot see in production, along with this is not just a two-man show.
Right.
But we have the Right Reverend.
Right Reverend?
The Right Reverend. That's his name for the podcast. On Sundays, he's Elder Lewis.
Right.
When he's at the house with family, he's
Yeah,
Lathan.
Yeah.
But when he's on the podcast, he doesn't like it, so that's why we picked the Right Reverend.
Right Reverend.
Right. So the Right Reverend is doing the production.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that you see coming on camera angles and lighting and all those type of things, anything in the lower thirds that come on the bottom of the screen, all that stuff comes. That's going to be the Right Reverend. But on tonight, we got a special guest with us on tonight. You won't see her on screen, but she's running one of our cameras on tonight. We have number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4 in our family. We have Gal with us behind the scenes. She's smiling, looking cute.
Running the camera.
Exactly, right? Running the camera. She wanted to join us. She wanted to join us today. She was like, can I come? Can I run the camera? Can I be a part of it? So she's running our camera. Thank you, Gal. She gave me a thumbs up.
She's a willing worker.
She's a willing worker. Right. So this is the Word in Conversation, and what we do here. This is not a Bible study. I thought about that on the way here. So this is not a Bible study, even though it's going to be streaming on Tuesday nights.
Right.
Right now, that's where we have it. The nights that they're going to stream, they're going to come out. You can always go back and watch them. We are recording these, so you can go back out and come back later and watch them if you're busy at this moment in time.
Right.
But for season 1, the way we're going right now is going to be on Tuesday. They're going to drop on Tuesday. So if you're catching this later on Wednesday, Thursday, that's fantastic. Let people know. Subscribe to our YouTube page. That's where you'll be able to find it. I'm not sure if we're going to do it on the Facebook. We might. It might be some people that's still watching us on Facebook. But definitely it's going to be on our YouTube page. So please subscribe to our YouTube page. But yeah, like I said, this is going to be where we fall on Tuesday night. This is where it comes. This is where we speak. This is where we talk. But like I said, it's not a Bible study.
Right. And it's the way we come up with this is life is life.
Life is life. Yeah.
Because, I mean, we get so caught up in the regular
Right.
things and people. We've been through it ourselves to where you get into a situation you just don't know which way to go. This is kind of what this is about. We're gonna be talking about a variety of things.
Variety, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
that.
not only in this particular podcast, but we have different steps that we're taking.
Right.
But we're making room for everyone,
Right.
from the young folk, the married folk, the seasoned folk.
I like that.
The retired folk.
I was wondering if you were going to use season. I was wondering if you were going to use season.
I want to use old.
I know,
say
right?
season.
I was
you know what I
thinking
mean?
about that too. I think about that too. Yeah, we're going to talk about all those different angles and different aspects. And it's not that we're just going to have a podcast and that it just doesn't deal with God. But it's like I said, this is still the word in conversation. So it's tying into the word of God. It's tying into the lifestyle that we want to live in God. But it also gives us kind of a practical identity, or allow us to identify different aspects of life. Things that
Right.
we struggle with,
Right.
things that we see, things that we encounter. So I want you to look at it in that. So when you come and watch this, come relax, come ready to laugh, come ready to think about things, discuss things. You can throw things down in the chat. And then we'll come back and talk about it. We'll discuss it. We're planning on having an episode to where whatever comments or topics that are in the comment section, that we'll actually talk about those things.
Right.
And so we'll have an episode where we actually just kind of pull out topics and that we'll talk about them. We'll discuss them. We'll look at them. We'll break them down as much as we can.
Right.
We'll take advice from other people. We'll be that episode should be fun also, as we kind of talk about a bunch of different things. But like I said, the ones that we have planned coming up. So the ones that we have planned coming up, like Dude was talking about, we're going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing, kind of starting off with the young folks.
Right.
So we're going to talk about young folks, younger generation. Then we're also going to talk about, like you said, we'll talk about the seasoned saints, or older senior citizens, or whatever.
I can't help but think about Deacon Alexander right now.
I know, right? When he watch it, he's like gonna be like, "What are you calling me?" He's gonna have an issue. He's gonna have an issue. But then also we're gonna deal with marriage. We're always gonna deal with marriage, because anytime I'm going to do and speak in front of people, I'm going to be talking about marriage in some
Right.
form of fact. I'm gonna bring it in because relationships are so they're so vital to life. They're vital to growth. They're vital to strength.
Right.
They're vital to faith, endurance, vital to so many different things. So, but the first one we're going to do, episode 2 is going to be, I think I want to title it like "Out of the Mouth of Babes," like that scripture. I was looking it up earlier, and but I wanted to title it "Out of the Mouth of Babes," because we are going to be talking about the younger generation. And
Right.
so that scripture is coming out of what's that? Matthew 21:16, I believe it is. But we're going to talk about, so Kennedy, my oldest daughter, and Aiden are going to be joining us. And
Interesting.
Right, it is interesting, right?
Right.
Because so months ago, Aiden came to me and was like, he was going to go hang out with some friends of his. And that's how the conversation started. He was like, I'm just going to hang out with some friends after school. I was like, okay, then cool. He's like, can we go? Can I go to this church? I was like, okay, cool. That's cool. That's what's up. We're going to be doing at the church. And he was like, we're going to do a Bible study. So I thought it was interesting. So I was like, tell me more. Now you got to unpack this.
Yeah.
Because, he's always going out, hanging out. He's playing football. He's doing exercise. He's doing all those types of different things. But this time he was like, I want to do a Bible study. And so I was like, okay, cool. Unpack this more. And so as I was totally confused too. Like, you should have seen my face. It came out of left field. Trish was telling me to calm down, and I had so many questions. I might have almost discouraged him at one point in time if Trish didn't tell me to stop talking. So he came. He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do a Bible study." So I was like, "Who's gonna lead the Bible study?" And he was like, "Me." I said, okay, unpack that more. And so we kind of got into a conversation, kind of going back and forth on the process of how he wanted to do it. But the people, his friends, they backed out, and he wasn't able to do it. He was kind of disappointed too. So I told him, I said, well, when we start back doing the podcast, how would you like to join me? And jump on here and kind of give your perspectives and kind of give your thoughts and your ideas. So he was like, yeah, let's do it. So I asked Kennedy too, because Kennedy's my rah-rah child. So she hyped and everything like that. So
Right.
I asked her, did she want to join me? She was like, of course, I'll jump. Let me know. Make sure I'm not at work, and we'll go about it.
Go
Let's
do
make
it.
it happen. So that should be fun. It makes me think. So I picked that topic because I started thinking about like our childhood, and I don't know if you can remember, but like what were those influences in your childhood that make you like? What do you remember like those early memories when it came to like church, those early memories when it came to God? Like who's that focal point? What was it like when you were a teenager? Because like I think about it, like I grew up in the church, and I think you did also in a nutshell. But as I came up, like I thought about it, like when I was younger, I knew to believe in God,
Right.
but I didn't really know too much beside that. And so I know you had mother.
Right.
Was that the staple? Was she the staple?
Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. And see, the thing about it is, when we grew up, and the difference, and the reason why this is going to help, I believe it's going to help people, is back then we grew up, it's not to say that it wasn't good. Everything, we came to church, yeah, we was kids, we was bad.
Yeah.
But there was points that we knew how far to go.
Right.
Like we didn't play with God type of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when it come time for prayer, we knew Grandma was real about prayer.
Yeah.
She's real about God. Knew Ella Spurlock then, real
yeah.
about God.
Yeah.
And you know, you have some people that's so into God when they come by, if you cutting up when they come by, you be like this. You know, you just stand that way because that's who they are.
Right.
And this is all you ever seen. But in some aspect, you got some to where growing up and we didn't quite understand some things. And instead of it being broken down and explained to us, it was just cut it out, stop it.
Right.
That's it. So that's where a lot of people kind of like didn't know and find out things until later on in life.
Right.
So this thing that we're gonna do with Kennedy and Aiden, this is gonna open up some eyes, prayerfully open up some eyes. It's not that we're trying to let the kids get to the point to where they run things, but you need to understand, we need to understand where they're coming from,
Right.
where their frame of mind is. Because we didn't understand
Right.
everything that was being
Right. That's
taught.
what I was about to get to. Right.
It was like, you don't ask questions because when you ask questions, it was considered talking back.
Right.
And it's not talking back. You want to know.
You want to know, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, it was like, and the thing about it, we knew right from wrong.
Yeah.
And so that was the main thing. Just like Aiden doing what he doing, he know right from wrong, right? So, and he know, yeah, there's a God and something is going on.
Right.
Something that he ain't getting like maybe we thought he should have got it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with you know, the Holy Spirit feeling somebody, touching somebody.
Their own
they get up
relationship.
and running around
Right.
church. It don't happen like that with everybody.
Right. Everybody's different.
And I remember, I think Pastor and Mother Simpson was talking about it. I believe, if I remember correctly, it affects everyone different.
Yeah.
Somebody can sit on that front row and never say a mumbling word, but that deliverance is going on. It's so hard and so deep.
Yeah.
Everybody experiences God different. But like growing up as kids, that's how it was. And a lot, like I said, a lot of understanding we didn't get. I didn't find out a lot of things until later on in life.
Yeah.
And so this
think it's the
is
same way.
one of the things we trying to, I guess, avoid and trying to help the kids grow. You know, you got to have your own relationship with God. And that you don't understand, don't be afraid to come and ask.
Right.
Because we're not going to shut you down and say, you just do it this way because this is the way I was taught to do it, and don't ask no questions. Same thing with him going to another church, going over there. Back then, they were like, no, you can't go to another church. But you trying to find out
church is
what
it.
is it about this church, what is, and that's where you do it, because when you cut them down, they don't know which way to go.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's really good because I started thinking about, like, as you were saying, I started thinking about, because like when we were coming up, no jab to the culture church or anything like that, but like when we came up, like we used to go to all the state meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I knew about the meetings and I knew the purpose of the meetings and I knew the reason for the gatherings and all of those type of things. But I started realizing later that my relationship was going to be different than what I saw. Mm-hmm. And as we look in the Word of God and we talk about Jesus and we see his ministry, everybody comes to him, even his disciples, they come to him in a different manner.
Exactly.
Right? They're from different lifestyles, they're from like different professions.
Right.
And so Jesus has come to them in a manner to where they understand him.
Exactly.
Right. And so to where they have a clear understanding. And so that's something I've also been kind of dealing with my own children to let them find God and not cookie cutter the relationship, and to let them know that the relationship is important. Mm-hmm. Because you pointed out, you said it so well when you said we knew right from wrong.
You're right.
And so that's almost, you can almost, in today's society, you almost want to be happy about that. At least you know what's right and wrong. If our children could tell us this is right and this is wrong. Mm-hmm. I had a scenario with Aiden not too long ago. I was telling Trisha about it, and he was saying I saw something and it wasn't right. But I wasn't gonna say nothing, and then when it was like got by itself, he was like, "Why is that even like that? Like that's so wrong." I was like, "So you do see? Great." So that was good to know what's right and wrong. But we don't know everybody's relationship, but we want everybody to know God, and so it's going to be different. And I didn't want to be cookie cutter for my children also, because like I said, in those state meetings, it was like you said, the way it was, we were told like it's supposed to look this way,
right? And
it never fit. Like it never fit me in that manner to where it never to follow in this way. So
yeah.
whenever I gave my life to God, it felt like what I was doing was wrong.
Yeah.
Right? It felt wrong because I was like, I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. I don't think I'm doing anything outside of the box. Mm-hmm. But it didn't mirror what other people saw. Right.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that with Kennedy. We're going to talk about that with Aiden. I'm going to draw out kind of that younger side and kind of bring about, kind of give our experiences, let them talk about it, ask them some questions. Be prepared for Aiden. Aiden, I'm going to get him to talk, but he is a mumbler. And he's like real cool, and he got the low voice.
Yeah, we got to give him the hot mic.
Yeah, he got the low voice.
Yeah.
And then he got to be cool about it. His teeth don't move. He'll see this later and he'll fuss at me. But then Kennedy, she'll be ready to hype. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be episode number 2, Out of the Mouth of Babes.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that one. The next one we'll be talking about, I want to title it, How to Rock Your Golden Years. And we're going to be talking, how to rock your golden years. And we actually, the right reverend had asked me, I kind of gave him the list. So we're going to have guests all this season.
Right.
At least for episode 2, 3, and 4. And so we're going to do, again, like I said, how to rock your golden years. And we're going to have my auntie, my Aunt Brenda, who's the mother of the church. But then we're also going to pull my father. We're going to pull Pastor Manny. Both of them are retired. And so now that they're
living a good life.
Right. And so we're going to discuss kind of their retired life and how it correlates with with Christianity, with your walk. We're going to correlate about, what do they look forward to now? Like John and I was talking about right before we got started. Because I was telling him about it. I was like, we're going to discuss this. Because I was starting thinking about, like, what is retirement going to look like? Because right now, we're so consumed with
everything.
And
we know y'all got a lot going on. Because y'all going, y'all nonstop.
Nonstop. So, yeah. We got a lot going on. And so I don't even know what that looks like right now. Right? Like, at least, like, you guys are empty nesters. Right? So you guys are empty nesters. Like, our house is still full. Yeah, Kennedy's about to go to college. We'll talk about that on next week also. She's about to go to college. But like I say, that's one person out the house, but it's still a house full of people. So I'm thinking about what it's going to look like when it comes to what are they experiencing now that they are older. Now that
Right.
they've been in the church for years, that stress from work. When I called Aunt Brenda earlier and asked her about being a part of it, I told her, I said, she was like, what do we want to talk about? And I told her, I said, we're going to talk about, now that you're retired and you don't have the stress anymore. And like I was in the middle, like explaining to her, she was like, Aris, I never had that stress. I could care less. All these years, she was like, I could care less.
So that's the thing. Yeah, she right.
You're right. She was like, however people felt, however it was going, she was like, I wasn't going to stress about it. I wasn't gonna, which was amazing, which is something else I want to tap into to try to figure out how she got there. Because she had a full house also.
Yeah.
The right reverend. She had to deal with the right reverend. He'll let you know. He'll tell you that he was the golden child or something like that.
Yeah, get the right reverend on podcast on one of these, huh?
I know, right? We got to get another mic and put you on there. Yeah, I'm blasting you also. But yeah, we're going to talk about, and so we're talking about my father also. He's retired, stays with us. And so at this point in time, which is fast, I'm going to let him talk about that also, is that kind of get a prelude, is that now he's watching and taking care of his brother. And so what that relationship, what he's seeing, and what he's, what is he experiencing during
Right.
this new transition in life? Because as you get older, you face different transitions. We are used to the ones that we see.
Right.
I'm used to seeing what my children are what they're coming up against. What is next for their life? What's next for Kennedy is college. What's next for Aiden is we're getting him ready for football. He's be a junior in high school. So we're getting ready to try to get on the varsity football team. AJ is getting older. We're focusing on getting more athletic and moving around more this year because he's getting more into baseball. So we're focusing on that next challenge. On top of that, we are focusing on Gal, who is now in gymnastics, and she is now a cheerleader. She has made me a cheer dad.
Cheer dad.
She has made me a cheer dad, right? So I go to competitions to yell and scream and do all the sounds and chants for cheerleading now. It's exciting. Super excited. She loves it, which is wonderful. So those are the next challenges that we are constantly looking for. So even like right now, like I'm in school. I went back to school. That's another challenge that I'm faced with. So we're facing those challenges. But what are those challenges that the senior citizens, those retired, those who are now empty nesters, what are those challenges? What are those things that you're facing? What does that have to do with your relationship with God? Is it become easier? Has it become difficult? Has it, what challenges do you face? Are you feeling more comfortable, like now you're ready to travel more, or where your mindsets are and stuff like that? So those are like things that I want to
look into.
Yeah, I want to kind of dive down into those type of things. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Right. So we're also, with that, we're going to be, like tonight we're at the church, right? So today we're at the church. So we're at the church. And we're going to be moving around. So this is going to be a mobile podcast.
Yeah.
And so we'll probably be at Dude House, right? We'll be at Dude House at one point. Probably do one for the last, for episode 4.
Okay.
But we'll be at Brenda House next week. I told her we'll go over there. And so we'll sit there and have a nice comfy couch conversation over there. We'll have one probably next week, probably be at our house. With our kids, and let them join in. So we'll be mobile. So our backgrounds and everything will be different each and every night, trying to be as engaging as possible. For episode 4, we're going to be talking about marriage. Marriage matters.
Definitely matters.
Definitely matters. So we're going to be talking about marriage matters, that marriage is important, marriage is key, marriage is vital, marriage can be strong, but then we're also going to talk about the matters of marriage also. So we're going to be talking about navigating love, life, and everything in between.
Right.
So we'll talk about all of those type of things.
Whew, that's going to be a good one.
Right. So we're looking forward. So Dude and I are looking forward to that because I put that one in the group chat. So we have a group chat. We could talk about this one for like ever. So we have a group chat with the Moores and the Manuels. If you're not following Patrice Moore, we've been on a hiatus because we've been so busy that we're talking about life has been lifing. But we've been on a hiatus from our date nights. But we need to get back on them. I think we're starting to slow down just a little bit so we can go back on our date nights. So if you're not following Patrice Moore, find Patrice Moore on Facebook. Find Patrice Moore on Facebook, and we're going to You'll be surprised on Friday nights when we started kicking it back off. When you follow Patrice Moore, she goes live. We go to different restaurants. We do different events.
Right.
We got one in the works right now, which we were laughing about. We'll see how that one goes. If we do it, you'll see it and you'll know it and you'll laugh. But we have different events that's out there. So I was telling them in the group chat. I texted them. I said, "Hey, ladies, are y'all want to be available and join Dude and I for the podcast?" And Trish already jumped off the bat. And like Trish like hit the question marks, but then Trish was like, what she say, like why? Or,
No, she hit the question mark. She was like,
oh, she hit the question mark.
I think she was like, almost like what we talking about or
Yeah.
what, something like that, but it was question mark.
Yeah.
Yep. I say, here we go.
Yeah. So I
Here
threw
we
that. So I threw that down in the chat to talk to both of them, and for the four of us to talk about marriage. We ain't never got got together on camera and talked about our marriage.
Right.
So we talk every Friday night, so we know about each other. But we're going to start fresh and talk about our relationships. Like we know what's going on, but like I'm still going to ask questions like I don't know, and so we're going to discuss those type of things. And so I was asking him about it, and so Trish was like, it better be scripted because we can talk. We talk. Like I said, I want y'all to realize
baby.
on that night when we talk about marriage, I want everybody, get everybody you can join us for this conversation because we talk when it comes to marriage, and we're real about it. There's no holding back. We're not trying to hurt each other's feelings when we talk, but we're real about it.
Yeah.
We're real about that conversation because love matters, life is important, and everything in between it is what gets us from point A to point B. It's what makes us strong. It's what gives us strength. It gives us confidence. It gives us a direction to go in. It lays the foundation.
Yep, and the thing about it, I'm glad it's the last one because marriage is not a contract. Marriage is a covenant.
I like that.
And that's how deep and serious it is in the eyes of God. And people kind of brush it off. I messed with a couple of guys that I talk to just about every day. And I told them it's a lot of people don't know. And when I read it and I understood it, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, man thing.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna let my, ain't nobody talk to me no kind of way or some of them do what I say. You have to be careful on even how you talk to your wife.
Yeah.
Not because she got brothers or because you scared she gonna leave. It's because of God.
Yeah.
He said that.
Right.
And so in this, when we're going to be talking about, some of this stuff we'll be putting some scriptures out there so that you can go to and read it yourself.
Right.
It's there. And it's very important to where you dealing with God and dealing with God's people, dealing with, your wife or your husband, dealing with your children and dealing with people in the church. And that's one of the, going back a little bit to where when you talk about the seasoned saints back then, when I found out a little later that even though you didn't agree with some that the saints, the seasoned saints said, you still had to watch how you dealt with them.
Yeah.
In the eyes of God. And so that's one of the things we also will be teaching our children, that don't be disrespectful on how you do it. You may not understand it, but try to get an understanding or ask somebody for an understanding. That way, you'll get it all cleared over God, and then you'll try to get that understanding, and now we can get everything out in open on the playing field. So yeah, it's going to be pretty deep. So hopefully everybody, you tell somebody, tune in. Like you said, we want to reach out to as many people as possible, only to help us grow.
Yeah.
Not so much as a popularity contest, but to help us grow. Things we didn't know back then, things we trying to help other people know right now.
Yeah.
So
that's big time. That's big time. Yeah. Especially going back to the marriage aspect and going and talking about how we're gonna be talking to our wives and stuff like that. It was so true. Like when it come to marriage, it was so many things that we didn't know. There's so many things we talk about that all the time. It was like I didn't know. I didn't have that perspective.
Yes.
I didn't think about it the way I said this. I didn't think about it that way. I didn't think about it. I had an idea of what marriage was supposed to be like watching my parents. not realizing that it was going to be different. Like mine was going to be
Gotta be different.
Mine was gonna be a little different.
Yeah.
And so you could build a foundation. So it was some things that I thought I could say, or like some attitudes that I could throw out there, and that was not the case. Like it was knockout, drag outs.
Yeah.
Because I thought, and my brain was like, ain't that big of a deal. Like I'm just saying, like my dad would say this, or my mom would say this, and just like.
Totally different.
Yeah, like we ain't talk like that in my family. Like, well, my bad. I didn't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, life in marriage is key, because you were saying something else that made me think about. When you said that marriage is a covenant,
Yeah.
not a contract. And I've been hearing so many people, like especially like not the people in my community, but people from like social media and from different like podcasts and different conversations and all that type of stuff, talk about marriage in that contract aspect.
Yep.
And so they'll be in relationships, but they don't want to be married. And they're only thinking about it from that contractual mindset.
Right.
And they're thinking about it in their mindset that, what if we don't want to be together anymore? If we get married, then you take half of the things that I have.
Yep.
When you get married and it doesn't work out, then I lose some of the things that I worked so very hard for.
Yep.
And as I look at that, I'm like, people not understanding that covenant aspect of it. Understanding that true relationship, understanding what it's all about to be married. So I was explaining to someone, I was like, yes, marriage in the United States is a contract.
Yeah.
Like, when you get married, you get a marriage license. And yes, that is a binding contract that you can use in the event that you get separated. You
Right.
become separated.
Right.
But the purpose of marriage is to bring that connection, to bring that bond, to grow, to strengthen one another, to support one another. And it's in the eyes, and all of that is through the lens of God.
Right.
It's through the lens of love, how God loved the church, how Christ loved the church, how God created his people, in that aspect of love. And people are missing that. They're missing that just because they're too busy focused on the contract aspect of it. And they're like, marriage is a sham, marriage is blah, 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 blah. You're looking at it at the contract. But I promise you, if you get into a relationship and really stick it out, and you really go through those bumps, and you go through those bruises, you go through those ups and go through those downs, you start to see the benefits of marriage.
That's right.
And it's also funny also because there's individuals that are not, they don't want to be married. And they never wanted to be married. They're not even like big fans of relationships. And that's fine. But those who are interested in marriage, don't be jaded by what we're seeing in the world, what we're seeing,
Right.
what we're seeing in other relationships. And so that's what this is. That episode is going to be about. Also, kind of shine a light on the good side of marriage, and how it can be challenging. But that even though you go through challenging stages, don't mean that the marriage has to be over.
It's gonna be some knockdown drag outs.
Yes. Maybe we
Real. You ain't gonna talk.
Knockout, drag out.
Yeah. You ain't gonna. You might look, and every marriage gonna have a point to where you probably didn't talk 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
But for the ones that are still there, you're still there. Now, we're not gonna tell you sit up here and how they used the older one you said, let somebody go upside your head, that type of thing. We ain't talking about that. But just because there's a disagreement, whatever the case would be, something like that, hey, like I said, you're gonna be days you probably ain't gonna talk for 2 or 3 days. That's life.
It's like, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it really is.
You got to remember when God said about marriage, you become one.
Yeah.
When you do a contract with somebody, it's you on that side, I'm on this side. And if you breach the contract in any kind of way, then we can go our separate ways. That ain't what God said. It's a covenant. And when you do that covenant, you become one. So just because you got a disagreement or argument or somebody put on some deodorant, you decide you want to go the other way.
Not deodorant.
Man, you'd be surprised.
You're not wrong either. We'll talk about that with the wives. But yeah, no, you're not wrong either. Like it become the smallest thing, especially when doing that growing process.
Yeah.
That growing process shows you a whole lot. Right, Reverend, I don't know if you realize that a lot of people see your marriage, you and Keisha marriage, as like the epitome of marriages. Like the upper echelon of marriages.
Yeah.
Cause like if you ever met the Right Reverend and Keisha, like in my brain when they got together, I was like, how did two people meet perfectly
Yeah.
and just mesh? In my brain, you and Keisha have never disagreed.
Exactly.
Like-
you don't look.
You like
Hey, we might be on the outside looking in,
Right,
but
right.
they
And
look like they so happy
they're
all
so
the
happy
time.
all the time.
And
they've never argued.
when we
they've
at
never
when we at
disagreed.
Bree House, we can be over there, and Layton said something, and it just tickled cases to death. I
Yeah.
was like, look at that.
Yeah. Like they high five when they get home because they're like, we've made it home to each other. I've missed
Oh
you.
my God.
They're like really cute love letters. At the dinner table, they just pass it to each other. That's the type of stuff I see. When and so with that, like and relationships are not like we have that identity, and
Yeah.
Lathan was like, that's not the case. It's not the case at all. But you have that idea of like that's what marriage is going to be, and if it's not that way, then it's going to be a problem.
Right.
But it's a process. It's a process through everything. Throughout that process, it's a process of communication. It's a process of learning. It's a process of growth. It's a bunch of different things. So we're going to be talking about all those different things. Again, join us. Start letting everybody know. After you watch this on tonight, like I said, we gave you just kind of this season 1, episode 1, kind of give you a prelude of what we're going to be kind of coming into for season 1. And it should be exciting. It should be fun. It should be serious. We should learn from it. We should grow from it. So please tell everybody Tuesday nights, look for the Word and Conversation. Jump on there. If you can't watch it on Tuesday, it will be on YouTube. Go back and watch it.
Right.
Go back and check it out. Have fun with it. Like I said, throw down in the chat any comments, any complaints. We take complaints too. We'll look at complaints and we'll talk. No, I'm not saying anyone is complaining, but yeah, if you have any complaints. But yeah, let everybody know, spread the word so we can encourage somebody, encourage you, family, friends, loved ones, all that jazz.
Exactly.
Cool. We are excited. Like the old saints used to say, may the Lord watch
Between me and thee,
while we're absent and one from another. Good night. Love y'all. Bye.
Na 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 na. There was a time that I didn't want to know your name, cast to the side.